North Hills holds. They'll take over at the Penn Hills 48-yard line.
And that was just
North Hills holds. They'll take over at the Penn Hills 48-yard line.
And that was just unfortunate. Mishandled the snap. Had to still search for it. Defense was able to push forward and nowhere to go for Duggar and the Penn Hills offense.
Now the North Hills offense will take the field for the first time. They'll keep it on the ground. Try the jet sweep this way, pick up some positive yardage.
Marker hands up. Number 16, Robert Dickerson.
That's Dickerson with the carry.
Yeah, Dickerson had a big game last week against Kiski area. Over 100 yards rushing, almost 100 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns. Had a big day. And the North Hills Indians are going to look to build off that.
Second down and 5 for North Hills. And they'll go Dickerson left. North Hills does a nice job to string out the Penn Hills Indian defense. Give Dickerson a lane, and he ends up picking up about 9 yards. And a North Hills first down.
They just run this little end around. They put him behind the tight end, not lined up as he's kind of like a split end is what they call it. And he does an end around, and he just go to the opposite side. You got 5 one way, go back, you get 8 the other way, and you'll just keep marching down the field that way for North Hills. Donning their gray tops tonight.
Another huge run for the North Hills Indians. Curtis Foskey. Nine. A lot they can do with this here. Second down and short. Ethan Marker, the senior quarterback, gets the play from the sideline. Marker gets strung out. Excuse me, that's Liam Tracy.
Marker hands up to number 25, Liam Tracy.
Indian defense does a nice job to string it out. He'll lose a yard.
Yeah, Juwan Brown, nice job coming from the linebacker position. And you see what they do. They like to motion the whole offensive line. They create a little gap, and that's where the running backs supposed to go. That time, Brown found it and was able to meet Lacey in the backfield and bring up third and short.
Foskey will pick up the first down for the North Hills Indians down to the 22-yard line.
And those handoffs up the middle, you're seeing it's North Hills is getting that push off the line instantly. And they're creating a yard or two gap before Penn Hills can even make contact with the ball carrier.
Nice hold left side down inside the 15-yard line goes Dickerson.
Number 16, Robert Dickerson dropped down by number 3, Chase Barney.
Dickerson, another end around, and Chase Barney's able to come from the safety position and make the tackle in the open field. Probably would have been a touchdown, but this is what we saw last week with Dickerson. Already on the year, 9 attempts, 164 yards rushing and a score, and a lot of that came last week against Kiski area.
Left side inside the 10, a penalty flag comes in. Looks like it might be holding downfield on Nathan Brackman. That was Tracy with the carry. If the play holds, it'll be 1st and goal at the 8-yard line.
Yeah, but I think they're going to go back from the 8. Yep. It'll be a holding, so that'll back it up to the 18. So that'll make it about it'll be 2nd down and about
7.
Well, they're actually going to back it up even further. They're saying the holding happened at the 12-yard line, so they're going to back it up all the way up to the 22, so it's going to be 2nd and 10. Nope, here they go back again. Back to the 18.
Oh, Jimmy.
We already got balls being ball spot being moved around 3 times. We're in the first quarter.
Already makes it 2nd down and 6.
Interesting pitch this way. Dickerson down inside the 15, close to the 10-yard line. They'll mark him at the 11. And it'll be 1st and 10. They'll mark him at the 11.
Well, coming into tonight, dating back to 2004, the past 6 matchups between Penn Hills and North Hills, it's been the Indians of the West. Penn Hills coming out victorious 5-1, that record, winning the last 4 matchups, including the previous 2 back-to-back in 2018 and 19.
Curtis Foskey, tough to bring down. Picks up about 3 down to the 8-yard line.
And he initially ran into his own offensive lineman, then met a defender in the backfield, but able to spin out of it and fight his way to gain 3 yards. Hard-fought 3 yards, but that's the kind of plays you need to keep the offensive rhythm going and gaining any chance you can.
And the North Hills Indians will want to talk it over. We are scoreless, 4:09 to go here in the first quarter. Penn Hills and North Hills on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Beautiful night for football here in Westview. Just off 279 at Martorelli Stadium. Pre-game, North Hills honoring its 2020 Athletic Hall of Fame class.
Second down, North Hills inside the 10. Toss left. Dickerson looks for somewhere to go, and it gets stood up at the 5-yard line.
Number 16, Robert Peterson, ball carrier.
Like Duggar and Barney on the tackle.
Yeah, nice job by both of them to come up from their safety positions and make a great open field tackle and make it 3rd and medium. Mark them officially at the 6-yard line.
Coming on the jet sweep was Tracy.
Marker hands off to number 25.
Tripped over that lacrosse marker there on the turf, and he'll lose about 4 yards. Went down untouched. Now it's 4th down, and North Hills will set up for a field goal. They'll bring in Dan and McCall to put try a 25-yarder. Almost be a moral victory for Penn Hills if they hold them to just 3. And the kick is wide to the right. Snap was a little bit high. I got to tell you, John Green, the holder, did a nice job of getting that ball down. Actually, they have him get the kick off. But that kind of messed things up a bit, and Penn Hills dodges a bullet. They'll take over with 2:45 to go here in the first. We are scoreless. Penn Hills and North Hills.
Yeah, nice job by Penn Hills to, I mean, you get a little fortunate break with the trip in the backfield, but that's the kind of stuff you need if you don't make that open field tackle to force the 3rd down. And now you miss the field goal. This is a chance to get momentum going. We saw last week the first quarter and a bit of the second was a defensive battle, and Penn Hills got the offense going a little bit in the first drive, but then stalled out. And that 3rd down play was really what did it. As Duggar was looking to pass, and wide receivers were covered basically in blankets of North Hills.
Duggar. Oh, just got a paw on it from behind. Otherwise, he might still be running. Tries to get to the outside. Held for no gain by North Hills' Sam Coldren.
Was brought down by number 30, Sam Holdren. Holdren's tackle was good for a loss of 1 on the play. 2nd down and 11.
Penn Hills goes straight up the gut with Dante Pollard. Gets hit at the 25. Spins ahead for another couple yards out to the 27 for a pickup of 8. The Indians, Penn Hills had the ball going on their first drive. Had a 4th and 1 at the 49-yard line, their own 49-yard line, but a fumble on the exchange prevented them getting the playoff on 4th down to pick up the 1 yard. And North Hills took over from there. They went down the field, got held inside the 10, and missed a short field goal. Derek Topek just short of the 1st down. And now another 4th and 1 for Penn Hills. This one just inside the 30. It's not even 1, about a half yard.
Yeah, we got an injured Penn Hills player.
And that'll give the coaches time to think about it here. I don't know, if they went for it before, why not?
Why not go for it again?
Yeah.
And you know, you want that center exchange to be cleaned up a little bit. We've seen the past couple weeks the issues for Penn Hills at center with some missed snap counts, high snaps over the QB, over the running back. We've seen it all season, really, dating back to the Woodland Hills game. So it's almost one of those things where secure it and maybe you just go for that QB sneak. You just try to run, I think that's what they were trying to do on the last 4th down and 1 because Duggar was under center. How often have we seen Julian Duggar under center all year? Not too often. He's been more of a shotgun quarterback, hand off to a guy to his right or left. And they're still tending to Penn Hills' injury. One of the big men on the offensive line went down, unfortunately. We've already seen tonight North Hills trying to stick to their normal game, their rushing attack. Not really a pass-happy team. Really, you look at Ethan Marker last week against Kiski, was 5 for 6, 124 yards, 4 touchdowns. And then also had Johnson throwing a couple passes as well. They kind of play a 2-quarterback system here and there. Logan Johnson for Kiski playing as well, but It was mainly Robert Dickerson as the injured Penn Hills players up. Dickerson had 148 yards rushing last week, 7 carries, 3, and also had 3 receptions for 99 yards for 4 scores total. And so far tonight, it's been that running attack with Robert Dickerson, also throwing in a little bit with Tracy and a couple others. And actually, the punting unit is out. Fake. It was a snap to the up man, and it looked like it was Jawan Brown received the snap, and he's able to pick up the first down.
It's pretty shifty there.
Oh, beautiful play call.
Fake punt is run forward by number 20, Jawan Brown. Gain of 3. First and 10, Penn Hills.
Had me fooled. I thought they were going to punt it as well. And beautiful snap right to the up man. Jawan Brown, and one who actually signals for the snap. Pick up the first down and continue the drive.
Indians will keep it on the ground, coming this way, picking up about 3 yards.
Pollard is brought down.
And Pollard on the handoff. We've seen some success on the first down for the running game for Penn Hill so far on the 2 drives. It's continuing afterwards and getting the play calling together. And they're going to, Penn Hill is just going to trot to the sideline and wait to the quarter to end.
And the quarter will wind down. That'll do it. After 1, your score, Penn Hill 0, North Hill 0. You're watching WPIL football on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Everybody sitting in Section E, you are the lucky winner of a collectible, limited edition, red North Hills Cup and face mask sponsored by DiPietro's. Congratulations on your big win this evening.
How fitting. North Hills Band playing a Beatles song on the weekend of John Lennon's birthday, or would be his 80th birthday this weekend.
Well, happy birthday
to the late, great John Lennon. Well, big play here potentially for Penn Hills. They got that 4th down conversion, 2nd and 6. You're able to get a play call kind of set, see what Duggar can do. He's been able to try to get passes off, but the coverage has been tight so far from North Hills.
Indians of Penn Hills will now be moving left to right. And Duggar rolls, throws downfield, and a pass just a bit too high and a little too hard for DeAndre Mitchell.
And that's one of those passes that Duggar has to let it rip. The lefty rolling to that far side, kind of an easy throw to get everything into, and he did. He ripped it. And just unfortunately, it bounces off Mitchell's hands. He did have the foot inbound to pick up the first down, but nonetheless, a 3rd and medium coming up for the Indians of Penn Hills.
Duggar will straight drop, throw, pass complete to Chase Barney. It's wrapped up close to the first down.
He's going to get it. Needed 6, got 8, and that's a beautiful little curl route. We saw that work in the Kiski game. Those short routes, those intermediate routes with his wide receivers and the timing. And there was 2 defenders. There was one kind of front left and one behind Barney, and Duggar just thread the needle and able to pick up the first down and keep the drive moving, kill some clock at the same time.
Dante Pollard left side with a little bit of a lane, gets across the 50, the 45. We'll have a first down for the Indians in North Hills territory. Nice scamper for Dante Pollard. 21 yards on my book there, RJ.
And that is correct. That's what I have as well. And a beautiful run. The set up to the right hip of Duggar. Gets a handoff. Beautiful blocking at the end and upfield by the wide receivers. Open up that massive lane for 21 yards for Dante Pollard. The first real big gain for Penn Hills. We're going to see the first snaps in the North Hills Indians territory for Penn Hills. As Duggar takes this one, hands it to his up back. And Derek Topak, and he just gets back to the line of scrimmage. Second and 10, just a little over a minute into the second quarter, scoreless between both Indian squads.
Fake the Topak swing pass this way. Brendan Hill goes up the sideline, but a penalty flag will come in. He has enough for the first down at the 25, but there's a penalty flag at the 27.
Yeah, they're going to get Mitchell for a holding, and he had such a great block for such a long time. He was perfect. He was square. He had his hands inside the shoulder pads, and the defender tried to turn upfield to go after Hill, and then that's what's going to get him booked for the holding penalty.
Basically, they're just going to redo the down. Well, maybe lose 2 yards on the penalty.
Lose 1. Well, they're going to mark it 37, so yeah, lose 2. Basically retried, almost like that Topak run didn't really work in the first place, but we're going to get a timeout called by Coach LaDon. Come charging down the sideline.
Timeout coming with 10:09 to go here in the second quarter. We are still scoreless, Penn Hills and North Hills. Thanks for joining us tonight here. Beautiful night for football. I tell you, that North Hills band, they take up those bleachers on the far side, don't they?
They take up the whole spot, and I mean, you can pack in a lot of fans over there. I've been here for a couple playoff games. That's a big band, and they showed it. They put on a little pregame festivity, and just incredible. Score update from the Wolverina. Woodland Hills leads Franklin Regional 6-0 after the first quarter. We'll try to bring as many score updates as possible throughout the night.
And it was on a 2nd down and 12 at the North Hills 37-yard line. Posey comes in motion to the near side. Duggar fakes the handoff, rolls off to the left, has a little bit of a lane, but does throw. Has a man wide open. First down, Penn Hills inside the 20, the 15, the 10. First and goal, Penn Hills. I think it's Derek Topak. No, excuse me. That was DeAndre Mitchell. With a nice pickup. That's a 29-yard gain. He was wide open on that far sideline.
Well, it's that naked bootleg. They faked the handoff to Pollard, and everyone went with it. And Duggar's rolling out. He actually had Topak in front of him, the shallow route, and then he sees Mitchell down further. And easy pitching catch. Mitchell just stands still, catches it, and able to turn upfield and bring up first and goal.
Topak straight up the gut, touchdown, Penn Hills Indians. 8 yards for 12, and Penn Hills strikes first in this pivotal Northeast Conference showdown.
A beautiful run there by Dante Pollard. Got the handoff, hesitated for a split second, and then he's able to find the hole, goes after it, and he's into the end zone, does a little dive, reaches across the pylon, and in.
And the kick up and good. 9:31 to go, first half. Penn Hills 7, North Hills nothing. You're watching the Trib Live High School Sports Network. I got to tell you, RJ, not enough can be said about our camera person, producer, Helen over here. I'm telling you, we went to trying the two-camera system tonight. Well, I'm trying to tweet the score. She's reaching over and doing my job of flicking between the cameras. She has enough to do on her own.
Director, producer, executive director.
Setter upper, terror downer.
Camera up, audio tech. She's the one that holds it all together here.
No doubt. No doubt. If it was not for Helen, we would not be able to do this.
No.
I'm serious. And we're serious.
we are. We're not joking.
Serious.
It's all. We're just the voices here. She's the one who makes sure it's all up and running, ready to go.
She makes us look good.
Yeah.
Silverman. Came on for the extra point. We'll kick this one down inside the 10-yard line. North Hills looking for a nice return across the 30. Finally wrapped up close to the 25. I think I'll mark him at the 24-yard line. That was Liam Tracy on the nice return. Mark him at the 35. I'll tell you, I love when these two teams get together and play. You know, there's two storied schools.
Yes.
I hate doing the game.
Because you can't say Indians.
You can't say Indians, and it's North Hills, Penn Hills. You can't say Hills. But it's always a great matchup between these two schools. That's 7 yards for Foskey. I'll tell you, this field too has a little bit of a soft spot on Helen and my memories here. It's back in 2013, our son's senior season for Penn Hills. He had torn his meniscus against Baldwin a couple weeks early, missed his Upper St. Clair game, and they actually cleared him to play during the North Hills game, but it was a non-conference game. They weren't going to play him. But Penn Hills was down 14-0. They threw him in. He was a defensive lineman. Came in, had a big night for Penn Hills, and Indians came back and won. Penn Hills Indians came back and won, I think, 17-14. But just remember him getting out on this field here. So, I mean, that's just part of, when you do this a long time, you have those memories. And, you know, I was fortunate enough, we were both fortunate enough to see our son play.
Oh, no, and this is a field that has a lot of memories for a lot of people, not just for the North Hills fans and alumni, but for the amount of WPIL playoff games that have come through this stadium. There's a lot of memories made on this field specifically.
I think North Hills will be tagged for 5. I remember Penn Hills, we did Penn Hills game here in '94. And I remember that one. Penn Hills pulled a big upset, but I remember that was the week that you had the plane crash out at Greater Pittsburgh International Airport. And there was a former Indian on that plane. So there was a bit of a pall over Penn Hills that night. But, you know, they came out and they ended up scoring late and pulling the upset. Quarterback keeper, Penn Hills was waiting. Maybe a yard for marker.
Cameron Hopkins. A gain of 1. Second down and 14.
False start on that first down play, and then try to do designated QB run and only able to pick up 1. And this is a chance for Penn Hills to capitalize defensively and maybe force a punt.
Toss this side, looking to get to the outside, and does. Still on his feet, pushed out of bounds at the Penn Hills 48-yard line is Robert Dickerson. That's a tough 8 yards for Dickerson.
And that's also the combination of some poor tackling for Penn Hills. Some guys that were missing was Dante Pollard and Jawan Brown. They missed on the tackles. Had a chance, had them wrapped up about the 47 of North Hills, and then around the 50, and then finally able to force them out of bounds at the Penn Hills 47.
North Hills in those charcoal jerseys tonight, in the white pants. Will roll to the right, does marker. Looks, launches one downfield, has a man, and a pass just a little short. It was intended for Tim Legler. That'll bring up a 4th down for North Hills on the Penn Hills side of the ball. We saw Penn Hills go for it twice on the North Hills side.
Yeah, but 4th and 6, that's a little...
And that's like a long 6, too.
Yeah, that one's a little rough, and it looks like Hunting even come out, and actually Penn Hills got lucky there as Jaden Duggar lost his man, Legler, and luckily the ball was able to fall to the turf harmlessly.
Oh, we saw Penn Hills fake one. We'll see if North Hills does. John Green does get the kick away. And Dante Pollard will make the fair catch. And down it at the 18-yard line. 6 minutes to go here in this first half. Penn Hills with the 7-0 lead. They have the ball, but they have it at their own 18-yard line.
We've seen it so far. The offensive rhythm has been there, and they've been able to mix in the passing game, and that's where this Penn Hills team is going to be most successful, is when they can get two-dimensional. When they're getting one-dimensional with the running game, we saw it was not working last week against Pine Richland. We've seen it so far. The passing game intermixed with the running game has resulted in some drives that have consecutively worked.
Posey. So has to go left. North Hills is there. And a late flag will come in as Posey gets held up for no gain. A little extracurricular activity on the far sideline. And they're going to tag Liam Tracy with a 15-yarder. Late hit, out of bounds. And that's an instance where they heard the ruckus turn around and saw the second guy.
Yep. And been watching, you can see here, it's been a little chippy. A lot of both sides have kind of been shoving at each other a little bit after the tackle. And this time the North Hills Indians got caught. One of the players got caught with their hand in the cookie jar and throw up the flag and call it a penalty and move it up.
Is that Amir Key diving over the 30-yard line?
Amir Key brought down by number 30, Sam Holmgren. Holmgren's tackle is good once again for a loss of 1 and a second down and 11.
Doggers pass A little behind Mitchell, but it's one he should have had. But Duggar rifled that one in.
Yeah, that was a beautiful throw. And I think Mitchell might have got confused for a second. I think he thought it was going to go to Brendan Hill, who was in front of him about 5 yards, but it was over top of Hill by about 2 or 3 feet. And Mitchell, yeah, was a little behind him, was about right around his left rib cage, but hands are on, and he's got to make that grab. And it's twice now we've seen a Duggar pass to Mitchell that has bounced off in traffic, a little bit of a harder catch, but those are the catches you need to come up to keep drives alive for your offense.
Penn Hills is going to be tagged.
Illegal procedure, charge to Penn Hills. Third down and
That could be just one of those wide receivers trying to get a little jump on the DBs, not waiting for the snap and leaning forward, and all of a sudden they rock too much and easy false start, illegal procedure.
Duggar straight drop, now flushed out to the left side, looks downfield, and he's going to head for the sideline, gets the pass away. That'll bring up a 4th down for the Indians of Penn Hills.
Beautiful coverage there by North Hills all over the wide receivers, nowhere for Duggar to look, and he tried to buy as much time as he could so he got to the line of scrimmage and then did the smart thing and just try to let one rip and see if you can maybe get a spectacular play. If not, bring out the punting unit.
Silverman back inside his own 15-yard line. North Hills with 10 men within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. So Silverman gets the kick away high. Fair catch called for and made at the 45-yard line. There'll be no return.
Robert Dickerson making the grab there for the North Hills Indians. You know, it was one of those instances where I was ready to say Indians, and I just can't.
It's impossible. You know, we just need the folks at home to realize who
we're talking about.
Yeah. Tracy for 4, but the late flag comes in.
Yeah, it's a holding. I was blatant. It was right in front of the head official, and I think it was at the line of scrimmage, or just close to it, and they're going to say from the line of scrimmage, so that's going to make it 1st and 20.
holding penalty, North Hills. Ball is moved back to the North Hills 35, 1st down and 20.
And the Penn Hills defense, nothing doing there. Luke Pugliese will drop Dickerson for loss back at the 30-yard line.
Brought down, number 78, Luke Pugliese.
Again, jet sweep this side. Chase Foskey gets strung out, gets picks up about 4 yards.
We get a timeout call by Coach Ladon. Make sure that clock stops.
Timeout coming with 3:28 to go. here in half number one. Penn Hills up 7-0. North Hills gets the ball to start half number two.
Will take place here at Martinelli Stadium tomorrow night. Be sure to watch live as we announce the 2020 North Hills Homecoming Court. Be sure to check out our website for that link at northhillsathletics.org. That's homecoming here at Martinelli Stadium tomorrow night. And you can watch live at northhillsathletics.org.
It's Beatles night here.
It is.
Third down at 20.
Foskey goes in motion left. Will pass back this way. In and out of the hands of Robert Dixon.
Parker's pass ball incomplete.
Dickerson had some room, but his teammates come up and pull him away. Nathaniel Brackman was like, to the sideline, chum.
And he had plenty of room as the DB backed off there. Looked like John Dawson was the man in coverage, and he was about 10 yards away, but Dickerson was looking to move upfield first.
Pollard back deep.
Pollard back for Penn Hills. Oh, Indians got their hand on this. One's tipped. And Penn Hills will have nice field position. This ball will go dead at the 47-yard line. 3:13 to go in the half. Penn Hills with the ball on the North Hills side of the field.
And down.
And 2 timeouts left, I believe.
One timeout. I think there's only been 2 used by Coach Ladon. That should be actually 2. Yep, you're correct, sir.
We good?
You're right. I was wrong.
I wasn't arguing with you.
But nice job by Devon Jones. He was the one who got in there and got a finger on it and caused the wayward kick. Great field position for his Penn Hills offense.
Topek following his blockers. North Hills does a nice job to stack the line. North Hills faithful here wanting to fumble on that one, but
That whistle was blown 15 seconds before that even happened.
Also in there on the stop was number 24, Curtis Foskey.
now 2nd and 10 for Penn Hills. You said mentioned it getting a little chippy out there. I think both teams are well aware of the meaning of this, what this game means.
Especially Penn Hills trying to prove something coming off an unfortunate big loss to Pine Richland last week, 43-0. Already not being shut out, and they want to make a statement that, hey, we're still in the playoff race.
Dogger rolls this way. He's going to take it and keep it himself. Gets a little bit on the sideline. Puts that ball ahead, and the officials do not give him that reach at all, do they?
Well, they're saying he's just out of bounds before that ball, or that ball's crossing the plane of the boundary. Closer to where they're marking it rather than how far down we are actually thinking about. It's still a nice medium pickup for Duggar. Not having any room in the pass.
Dogger straight drop, throws over the middle, and a pass through the hands of DeAndre Mitchell again. That'll bring up a 4th down. Penn Hills is going to have to think about this one here. Clock stops, 2:16 to go here in the first half. Penn Hills up 7-0.
Yeah, that is one that Mitchell should have. He had the great release off the DB, turns around. The ball might have been at his helmet, but you got to make that grab as a wide receiver. That is a catchable ball. Got up late. Duggar had no choice to get it off a little earlier than he might have wanted to because of the pressure that was in his face. But that's when your wide receiver's got to haul in for the quarterback.
Penn Hills called a timeout. You think they're going to have their defense is playing well. So I mean, give a shot for a 4th down here.
And may have not liked the setup initially by North Hills and decide call a timeout, bring them back. Let's talk everything over again and see what we can do. You know, our QB's been playing pretty well. It's unfortunate as wide receivers haven't been able to haul in a pass here and there. And also had the running game going a little bit up the middle, but after about first down, North Hills has been the one to stop them. As the Beatles show continues here.
Enjoying it.
No, I'm not complaining one bit.
You see, is that the cheerleaders or majorettes they're swaying over on the right?
That is their majorettes. The cheerleaders are the ones.
They're the majorette. My wife, the former majorette, has pointed out that those are the majorettes.
Those are the majorettes. Cheerleaders down here on the sideline, so. The offense coming back out for Penn Hills.
And why not?
Yep.
I expect to see them run the football somehow. Nope. Duggar's going to drop back and kick. At least that's what it looks like. Trying to, no. And he does, and he boots it. Hits it to 5. And then Penn Hills Indians down it right there. Justin Posey got down. It took just bounced straight up in the air. Basically went dead.
Yeah, that ball it wasn't moving end over end. It was kind of like wobbling, so it came down on like the side part of the ball, whatever you want to say.
Kind of called flat.
Yeah, it came down flat, and it bounced straight up. And a nice job by Posey running full speed downfield. Makes a grab and pin the North Hills Indians deep in their own territory. We've seen that used through high school, college, and even the pro ranks. We've seen Ben Roethlisberger for the Steelers use that kind of pooch punt to pin a team deep.
Now, North Hills has to be careful here, not to turn the ball over, to hold on to it. Curtis Foskey gives him a bit of room across the 10-yard line, out to the 12.
Gain of 7, second down and 3.
Coach Pat Carey giving the play call to Maxwell Sharp to relay it to the offense, the wide receiver.
Dickerson goes right side. Looks like he has enough of the first down, just enough.
Robert Dickerson, the ball carrier.
Only needed 3, and he got exactly 3. You just let them chew the clock up. You know, it's kind of one of those things where North Hills is going, we're going to stick to our offensive play. You know, if we break one off big, great. But so far, the Penn Hills Indians been doing a great job getting there after a couple yards gain to bring them down and not allow a big rush happen.
First down as the clock rolls under a minute. North Hills sets up the throw, launches one downfield. And a penalty flag comes in on a ball that was way overthrown. They're going to call this one against Jaden Duggar.
Pass interference charge.
It's not a spot of the foul penalty. Give him 15 yards. That'll be good enough for a first down.
And that's unfortunate. There is no uncatchable pass in high school. As North Hills goes quick offense here.
Jump ahead for about 6.
Foskey on the run and a timeout.
North Hills use a timeout with 42 seconds to go. Here in half number 1. Coming at halftime, we will be broadcasting the North Hills Band.
Oh, spectacular watching them pregame and listening to them so far during stoppages and breaks. But on that pass interference, ball was overthrown, but there is no uncatchable pass in the high school ranks as well in the college. But a nice sail job by Robert Dickerson. He was the one who kind of like hooked the arm of Jaden Duggar and then flailed the arms up, and then that's when the official finally was like, okay, I'm going to call. When, however, the two of them were battling the entire time down the sideline. But once Robert Dickerson brought attention to the official that, hey, there's some contact going on here, flag comes out of the side pocket and onto the field.
Marker rolls to his right, throws underneath, pass complete, inbounds. Be enough for a first down at the 45-yard line. It was Dickerson who hauled it in.
Yeah, they're going fast. They're trying to clock this.
And they did.
So that play only killed 10 seconds. And seeing the deep ball there, Marker's getting them out. Just sometimes a little overthrown as wide receiver. One time had an underthrow. Late sub for Penn Hills coming in is Keith Pellman. And he's had some strong defensive bouts on the DN line.
Marker rolls this way, under pressure, gets flush, has some room to run. Will head for the sideline, and goes out about the 48-yard line of Penn Hills. That's a pickup of 8. Now they move into Penn Hills territory, but there's only 25 seconds left. The clock is stopped.
Yeah, got time for a couple shots. Still have a timeout in the pocket as well for North Hills.
And as we've seen, Marker can't launch them.
Yes. A smart play there by the QB just to pick up yards and then get out of bounds.
Marker, halfback pass. This is a live ball. Throwing one downfield to have a man. And a pass caught. Inside the 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. North Hills Indians on the flea flicker. That's Robert Dickerson on the reception.
A beautiful pass by John Green on the flea flicker. And a mistake by the Penn Hills secondary jumping that pass.
Looked like Justin Posey went up for the interception when he wasn't able to snatch it. That left Foskey all alone, and he was able to ramble like the last 20 yards untouched. Green's kick looks like it goes off to it goes through. So the touchdown coming with 14 seconds to go in the half. And we are now knotted at 7. 95-yard drive. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plays. Just under 2 minutes, 1:55. Plum up 13-0 in halftime over the Hampton Talbots. Of course, have a vested interest in that score. My son, who we spoke about earlier, is a Plum coach. So if the Mustangs win tonight, I believe they clinch a playoff spot. Green to kick off. Kicks it short. Key from his own 20-yard line. Looks for somewhere to go. And North Hill stacks him up and pushes him out of bounds at the 27-yard line. 9 seconds left. If you're Penn Hills, do you just take it to the locker room? Or do you try something here?
I'd try one. You have a timeout. let it, we know Duggar has an arm. Let it rip, see how far you can get down. We know Silverman has a pretty good leg, so I would try for anything. I wouldn't go into the into the locker room.
If they can get to the North Hills 35 with time left, they'll try a field goal.
It looks like.
Well, so much for that idea. Penn Hills will, in fact, take it to the locker room. And that'll do it. The clock will wind down. Your score at halftime, Penn Hills 7, North Hills 7. Coming up, the North Hills Fighting Indians Marching Band here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Dickerson. 3-16.
Dickerson.
Yeah, Dickerson was the one that got it. I just wanted to double check with them.
Major Manny Zarone. The Beatles are one of, if not the best-known British rock bands of all time. We opened this year's halftime performance with the Beatles' Magical Mystery Tour. Recorded in April and May of 1967, here to take you back to the rock age of the Beatles is Magical Mystery Tour. Written by John Lennon and Paul McCartney, I Want to Hold Your Hand was recorded on October 17, 1963, and was the Beatles' first record to be made using 4-track equipment. By February 1st, 1964, it topped the Hot 100 and stayed there for 7 weeks before being replaced by She Loves You. Here is I Want to Hold Your Hand. We conclude our halftime performance with one of the seniors' favorite tunes from their rookie year, Hey Jude. Hey Jude was released as a non-album single in August of 1968. The single was the Beatles' first release on their Apple record label, and one of the first 4 singles by Apple's roster of artists, marking the label's platform. Hey Jude was the #1 single in many countries around the world. We hope you enjoy Hey Jude as much as we enjoy playing it for you here at Monterey Stadium.
Second half action about to get underway at Martorelli Stadium in Westview, with the score tied 7-all between the Penn Hills Indians and the North Hills Indians. R.J. Lacey, the Indians of Penn Hills, had that 7-0 lead until 14 seconds ago at halftime. And North Hills gets the ball to start the second half. Could that be a pivotal moment in this game?
Potentially. I mean, I like the way Penn Hills defense has played so far. I mean, the DBs have got burnt a couple times, but luckily the passing of Ethan Marker has been a little off. We've seen some underthrown balls and we've seen some overthrown passes, but the one big one was a jumped route, trying to go for it on the flea flicker, and fortunately missed the ball, and Robert Dickerson was able to just make the easy catch and then run it in for 20 yards after the 28-yard throw in the air for the 48-yard score.
If you notice, the Penn Hills Indians did not go into the locker room at halftime. They said they stayed outside in the end zone down to our right, and now they're out there warming up, and the North Hills Indians have yet to come out of the locker room with under 2 minutes to go before the kickoff.
Yeah, and we've seen that with such close quarters most of these schools have for locker rooms, and not able to really go into a locker room setting due to COVID-19 precautions. But, staying out in the open field, actually standing where the band traditionally sits in our end zone to our right, but nonetheless able to stay out there, hydrate, stretch, and now get back in there. And North Hills wasn't even in their own locker room. They're actually coming from the parking lot behind the bleachers where the band is sitting.
Well, it is a beautiful night.
A gorgeous night for some high school football today. I mean, all year we've really been blessed so far in this fall season with this wonderful weather.
Well, let's not jinx ourselves. How do we look stats-wise from that first half?
Well, looking overall for the teams, looking at, let's start with the home team, North Hills. 20 rushes for 88 yards. Also have 2 for 4 passing with 57 yards. Total of 24 plays, 145 yards. Leading the way is Curtis Foskey with 7 rushes for 42 yards. Robert Dickerson has 8 rushes for 37 yards. Passing, Ethan Marker 1 for 3 for 9 yards. And John Green on that trick play, 1 for 1, 48 yards, a score to Dickerson. Dickerson also has 57 yards total in receiving. Looking for Penn Hill's side, total of 18 rushes for 65 yards, 49 yards passing on 7 for 3 completions, so 25 plays for 114 yards. Stat leaders, Dante Pollard rushing 7 rushes for 43 yards and the score, 8-yard touchdown score, the lone one for Penn Hills. Julian Duggar, 3 for 7 through the air, 49 yards. The longest was 29. That was to Mitchell that set up the 8-yard run by Pollard. Receiving, DeAndre Mitchell, 1 catch for 29 yards. Should be a couple more. He had a couple drops at passes he should have caught. And then also Jaden Duggar and Chase Barney, a couple with a reception each, 1 for 12 and 1 for 8 yards respectively. Overall, even game, you look at it. Penalties, both teams with 4 penalties. North Hills, 32 yards. Penn Hills, 36 yards. Time of possession, North Hills, 13 minutes and 16 seconds, while Penn Hills has 10 minutes and 44 seconds. So a very tight game stat-wise, and on the scoreboard, we're all square at 7. So it's been a good mix of the two teams. You've seen the defenses both stand tall, and you've seen the offenses also create some action, some plays. I mean, Penn Hills has definitely shown their fair share of trick plays tonight, and North Hills responded with one of their own, and that one just was the equalizer at the end of the half.
Well, they reset the clock. Now we're back under 2 minutes again. But again, we got 24 minutes to decide who's going to be in the driver's seat for that playoff spot in the conference. Behind, as we call them, the buzzsaw of the North.
And that team was a buzzsaw tonight. Last score update I saw, Pine Richland, I don't know if they were leading or if they were won. It was 54-7 over Shaler. So the Rams keep on rolling, and that's going to be a big matchup next week. That will be for the Northeast Conference, as North Hills will take on Pine Richland at Penn Richland. So that'll be an interesting game to watch and follow.
Yes, indeed. We'll have to check the scoreboard next week. Penn Hills will be home against Fox Chapel, who was victorious last week against Shaler. So Fox Chapel is still sort of in the hunt.
Well, both teams are in the hunt. I mean, it's one of those things where you're fighting for that third position. That game, because the way Shaler's going this year, it's going to be a rough year for them to even get a win. Losing tonight, going to lose, however you look at it. And then next week, I'm not totally sure. I'm going to guess they have Kiski, so that could potentially be their win. And then they'll face Penn Hills at the end of the year.
So it's, the way the playoffs are set up, you're taking the top 2 teams from each conference and 2 wild cards, I do believe, is how they're setting that up for the playoffs. The City League has decided not to go to the state playoffs.
Yes. Yeah, and that's, COVID precautions, everything going on there, and unfortunate, but we're not going to see an additional round of PIA playoffs. They are shortened by 1 round this year to make sure they get games in, and before we hit the Thanksgiving mark, they want to try to get it in.
Yeah, have to. I mean, look at Penn Trafford. Gateway got canceled this weekend. It was Gateway last week or 2 weeks ago. They got canceled.
They were
and
canceled.
Now Penn, they're ready to play, and Penn Trafford now gets the COVID.
Yeah, and that was going to be a Sunday night game. That was going to be a fun one too.
Yeah, now Gateway's looking for a game. I mean, Pine Richland could give them a call.
They would like to reschedule that one, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet they want to play that one. That was the Titan battle of the Class 5A.
Silverman's kickoff is high, taken at the 10-yard line. And Dickerson will bring it out across the 25 to about the 27-yard line. Tackle on the play by the Indians, DeAndre Mitchell. And again, the players are all separating each other, pushing everybody away.
They know. They know what's on line. They know what's at stake here, and they're playing like it, and you're definitely seeing the physicality on the field. And we saw a personal foul already called once tonight, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get one more.
Foskey.
Does
Does he get a yard? Maybe a yard.
I think they're going to give him one.
Game 1, 2nd down and 9.
That was a nice job by the big man up front, Claude Evangelos. He was the one who shed his blocker and then just stuffed Foskey right there and only allowed him to get one.
Dickerson will get the toss to the right, and he's going to throw. Launches one downfield. And tight coverage on Sharp by Duggar.
Going back to that kind of reversal trick play. And this time, Duggar and the secondary don't jump on that ball. They stay right with the man and don't. We saw Duggar got called with a pass interference on that drive for North Hills that led to the score. But that time he was able to stay clean and allow the ball to fall incomplete.
That one whistled dead before North Hills was able to get that play off. Oh, no, they called time. North Hills called timeout.
Yes. And that's an unfortunate. That was offense not set up the coach's likings, and Pat Carey just says, well, let's regroup, gentlemen. An unfortunate burn of an early timeout, but you want to make sure the execution is there and with as much as on the line tonight.
Marker from the shotgun. Spins to his right, hit as he throws, and that one will be incomplete. Late whistle.
I think they're just signifying incomplete. The play was dead.
That was Keith Pellman with the hit.
We've seen him a couple games where he's come off that defensive end spot and he's made an impact in the backfield that time, able to get home and bring up the punt unit.
A 5'9", 175-pound sophomore. And the kid brings it.
Yes, he does.
4th and 9 for North Hills, unable to take advantage. The opportunity to take the lead. Does Penn Hills get a hand on it again? I don't think so. I think this one just went straight up in the air. And it took a Penn Hills bounce, and North Hills is going to have to down it. Alec Apodaca will down it at the 40-yard line of North Hills. Penn Hills will start off in excellent field position with 10:48 to go here in the third quarter. And the game tied at 7. Pollard. Apodaca gets a hand on him in the backfield to keep him to only a yard gain.
Stopped out by number 8, Alec Apodaca. Again, what on the play? 2nd down and 9.
That end on the left side jumped early for the Penn Hills Indians.
Yeah, man. Luke Puglisi was the one who just leaned forward before the snap.
You could see it from here. He'd be surprised if nothing was called.
Down and 14.
Yeah, at that moment I looked up at the line judge and was like, all right, when are you going to pull the flag out of the pocket? You see him reach forward and flips it up into the air.
Dogger toss this way. Pollard able to handle it as the toss got a little behind him. And he'll pick up about 3. And Penn Hills with a 3rd and 12.
And Pollard's hurt on the near sideline.
And Pollard's still down.
And coming up to make, Apodaca, he was the one who was able to come up and make the tackle.
And this does not look good.
No, this is we're definitely looking at a lower leg injury, and they're already bringing out.
Bringing out the leg splints.
Yep, they're bringing out the soft cast. Unfortunate for a very explosive player in Dante Pollard. The senior was having a wonderful year in the backfield. Coming in tonight's game, 26 rushes for 166 yards and a score. And he was leading the way tonight. It was one of those ones when he got hit from behind, slid down, and I think the leg got trapped underneath in unfortunate events.
Yeah, so Pat Carey from the North Hills coach went out and brought John Ladon over. And it's gotten very quiet
Both,
here in Westview.
Both athletic training staffs working to try to make sure Pollard is as comfortable as possible at this moment.
See him blowing up the air cast.
And they're waving on the stretcher at this point.
Fortunate Pollard having an excellent season up to this point. A huge loss for this Penn Hill squad. You know, the shame about it all is, too, is that you can't have any visitors here, so his parents aren't up here.
Yeah, is.
And, you know, they may be home watching this.
Yes, and our prayers and thoughts are instantly going out to him and his family
absolutely.
during this. You know,
Absolutely.
Neither side. You don't want to see an injury, no matter who you're rooting for, ever.
No.
You know, no matter what level of football it is, and especially a young, talented man as Dante Pollard is. You know, we wish the best for him, and whatever the unfortunate injury is.
Yeah, I mean, the trainer knew instantly.
Yes.
She went out, and then you see her she just took off, running down the sideline to go get the bag.
Yeah, and you could tell he was in anguish from the moment because he snapped the helmet off as soon as he could, and players were waving over. That's Coach LaDon talking with Pat Carey and also Pat Weber, the athletic director here at North Hills.
You know, it wasn't a cheap shot. It wasn't anything like that. It was just one of those things. You kind of saw him slip, and he went down, and you know, and a North Hills player fell on top of him.
Yep. Leg got pinned underneath, and Coach LaDon on the phone. Might be trying to make contact with Dante's parents right now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's
a situation.
They might be wanting to say, you know, can we just show up? We're not going to put the camera down on it.
No.
You know, out of respect for Dante Pollard. I mean, you can't really see anything anyway.
No.
You know, the paramedics are out there. They're stabilizing the leg, and so shortly he'll be on the stretcher and getting first-rate care. Probably at North Hills Passivant.
Yeah, they're right now trying to make contact with his parents, make sure they can meet him at the hospital and get there.
Perhaps see which hospital they'd like him to,
Yes.
to go to. You know, let's hope and pray that this is precautionary.
Yes.
That this is just all precautionary. I mean, again, you know, we're trying to fill time. What do you say? What do you say?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you fill time with while you're, you know, you see this going on?
You don't. You know, this is where you pause, take a break, and
Unfortunately, we can't just say go to commercial.
Correct. You know.
But you know, the North Hills staff up here and crewmen are all class.
Oh, yes. And from the moment, talked to him beginning of the week, as Pollard able to give a thumbs up to the crowd and to the North Hills bench. You see his teammates going over to him right now.
Yeah, it's tough to see one of your team leaders
one of your
Turn
seniors.
off like that.
And could hear it from down from the field. In 3 minutes will allow the teams to kind of loosen back up after the stoppage. And you talked about what do you do on the broadcast? What do you do on the field to get your mind back into the game? That's you just watch one of your, not only your teammates but one of your friends go down with an injury that is very unfortunate and just is unfortunately part of the game. That's one of those things.
I mean, did we catch the lineman that went down for the Indians for Penn Hills in the first half?
No, I actually couldn't catch a number. I can actually see from across the way a lineman that has it looks like a brace on the left ankle, and I believe that was one of the ones who went down. And from over here, it looks like it was Josh Wade, 53. He was the man that unfortunately was injured early in the game. Yeah, he's walking gingerly, so that was the other injury we saw earlier for Penn Hills.
Again, kudos to Pat Carey, head coach of North Hills, and athletic director Pat Weber. Just for the whole situation. And the class that they've shown. So although it's chippy on the field, I mean, you all look after each other. And Duggar's going to throw as we come back live, and expected Cameron Thomas to come back for that one. And that'll bring up a 4th down for Penn Hills, and they're unable to take advantage of the excellent field position following the North Hills punt.
Yep, backwards play, and that one coming out. Julian Duggar just faced the pressure and was right in his kitchen as Brackman was the man from the defensive line able to get in. And timing was off and brings out the punting unit. And we're going to get a penalty against Penn Hills. They're going to have an illegal substitution.
Well, that'll give Silverman just a little bit more room to...
Almost have put Duggar back out there with the pooch punt as well as he did the first time in the first half, but at the 5-yard line.
Yeah, but then they went on a 95-yard touchdown drive.
We're not going to mention that.
I mean, that's kind of the way it's been for Penn Hills this season. They make a play like that, and they almost got to Silverman. Ball will hit at the 15-yard line. And the Indians will down it at the 11. Josh Zambito downing it at the 12-yard line.
Beautiful, nice pump by Silverman with a lot of pressure in his face. Able to get that one off for the 35-yard punt.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Kelso, who are celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary. Let's give it up for Mr. and Mrs. Kelso on their 60th wedding anniversary.
North Hills with the ball. Hand off to the up man. That's Foskey. Makes one man miss. Able to spin out a tackle and then finally brought down about the 21-yard line. Solid 9-yard pickup for Foskey off the inside rush.
I mean, the teams have been moving the football, but they just haven't been able to finish.
Yeah, from the Penn Hills score, there was consecutive 4-and-outs for both teams twice. And then the big 95-yard play. Otherwise, both defenses done a great job tonight limiting the offenses.
2nd down and short. North Hills will pick up the 1st down. Curtis Foskey out to the 31-yard line. Actually 32, picks up about 11.
Went back, step back to the 31. Put a little jig move the line judge on us. We've been used to that all season.
Yeah.
We'll start putting.
That was the interesting thing at Woodland Hills. Whenever we're down in the first row of the bleachers, calling the game.
Yep.
I mean, gosh. I mean, you could see how it was a game of inches or yards. Just the way they move the football between plays. The inconsistency. Pass right side complete. Dickerson will be spun out of bounds, short of the 40.
Dickerson was brought down by number 16.
Robert Dickerson has slowly become the playmaker for this offense in the past couple weeks. Had the real big coming out against Kiski, and then tonight also carrying it through, and he's been the focal point of this offense, both in the run and the passing game.
Foskey cuts to the near side, gets a lane across the 50, has a sideline up to 40, finally hit and out of bounds, close to the 35-yard line. It's about 25 yards.
.25 on the mark, and that was just the vision by Foskey to see the lanes, cut back towards the near side, and then turn it upfield. And he got a block from his wide receiver downfield. Might have been Dickerson down there on the near side. And was able to seal the edge. Excuse me, actually Cornelius Walls was the man with the block.
Dickerson takes a pitch to the right, gets wrapped up by Luke Pugliese, and he'll be dropped for a loss of 5. Luke Pugliese was not fooled. He just drove his blocker straight ahead into the backfield.
That right tackle had no business stopping him. Matthew Hummel, and Pugliese was just saying, I'm going upfield, met Dickerson, and he wasn't letting go of that jersey, and he was bringing him down. And that's the kind of play you need after that big gain.
6'1", 275-pound junior, Luke Pugliese. Foskey. Gets 3 of it back. And now North Hill's looking at a 3rd and 12.
Nice job by the interior line, and then the linebacker with Derek Topek, and also coming up to finish was Cameron Hopkins for the tackles.
Passing situation for North Hills. Another instance where the Penn Hills could be missing Dante Pollard back in that secondary.
Yep.
Marker scrambles down to about the 30-yard line. He'll be short of the first down. Chase Barney with the tackle for Penn Hills, and now it's 4th down. And this is 4-down territory for the North Hills Indians.
Yeah, and that should have been a tackle in the backfield for a loss. You initially had Pugliese in there that forced Marker to roll out, and then one of the linebackers coming up just completely whiffed. I think it was Markel Willis who was the one that came up and missed a tackle, and Marker able to fight for yards and make it 4th and short.
North Hills trying to take the lead. We are knotted at 7 here in the 3rd quarter. Foskey tries to cut left to the outside, and he'll be held short of the first down, it appears. Yes, he will. Needed to get to the 31. He's brought down to 33. And North Hills will turn it over on downs. Change of possession coming with 5:33 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Penn Hills will start at their own, 28-yard line.
And that was a poor run by Foskey. He had a lane. He tried to bounce it out instead of pushing forward. He only needed 1 more yard. Instead, he tried to get the couple extra on the outside, and that allowed Penn Hills to recover and make the tackle and force the turnover on downs.
Now Penn Hills, who went 3 and out on their initial drive here in the second half, will lose a yard on their first play. Derek Topek is brought down in the backfield. Again, now how does the loss of Pollard change the complexion and the dynamics of the Penn Hills offense?
Yeah, now you're looking at more of a power backfield with Derek Topak, Jawan Brown. We've also seen on the season rush, you might get a little more end arounds. It looks like actually Amir Key is in the backfield now for the Penn Hills Indians.
And it'll be Key. Left side, out across the 30 to the 31. 4 yards for number 4. And the Indians looking at a third, Penn Hills Indians looking at a 3rd and 7.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where it's the classic motto, next man up. You know, you got to take your chance. You got to step up. You know, you're given this opportunity due to an unfortunate event, but this is where your team's going to need you. And you're going to see a lot more pressure put on the freshman quarterback, Julian Duggar, as well.
Duggar will roll to the near side. Pass down the sideline. It's caught on a nice catch and grab. First down, Indians, Brendan Hill at the 49-yard line. 21-yard reception. North Hill's trying to say he did not come down inbounds, but catch like that, he came down inbounds.
That toe touch before his knee hit on the white, and that was just a good pass by Duggar, but a better catch by Brendan Hill to come down with it. Huh. That's the plays you need to make to keep drives alive.
That could be the type of play that's a difference in a game like this.
Yes.
Duggar will roll to his left, play action. Throws downfield, has a man on the far side. And he threw that one across his body and a little too far out.
Mitchell on the tender reception, and that was the play that led to the 8-yard rush by Dante Pollard, that little bootleg out to the far side. You have a man underneath, it's Topak, he releases, and you try to go to Mitchell. That one would have been one on 1st and 10, dump it off to Topak. He's got 5 yards already. You can pick up a couple extra, and you make it 2nd and medium to 2nd and short. And that's one of those plays where, as a freshman quarterback, you're also scrambling out. You're trying to look, a lot of processing. You want to go for the bigger play. That's one of the ones where, over time, the maturity will allow him to bring the check down.
Duggar follows blockers to the left, keeps it himself. North Hills is there waiting. And Duggar actually was able to pick up about 2 yards.
Number 2, Julian Duggar on the keeper.
And it's another 3rd and long for Penn Hills.
27, Tanner Yelnicki.
A nice job by Duggar. Initially met in the backfield. Initial contact was by Samuel Coldren. But Duggar was able to find his way. They're going to get another illegal substitution against the offense, against Penn Hills.
Illegal substitution, Penn Hills.
Well, instead of 3rd and 8, it'll be 3rd and 13.
And Coach LaDon is asking how, and it's since they huddled and they broke the huddle, they had too many men in there, and it was just one of those things that if they don't go in that huddle formation and they kind of stay away from it, and then the guy runs off and they won't call it until it's snapped. But that was one where they broke the huddle with too many men.
3rd down and 13.
Noel Roach will split to the near side. Haven't called his number yet tonight.
No, very quiet for Noel Roach.
As we mentioned that, Duggar looked that way, and he'll go off to his left. Cuts it up across the 50. And he'll fight his way inside the 45 to the 43-yard line.
Tripped up on a play by number 27, Tanner Yelnicki.
I don't know what the only option Duggar had. All his wide receivers had covered. The only time he had was his brother Jaden was standing around the 42, but there was 2 defenders, one below, one shallow, and one covering over top. And that's a tight throw you don't really want to force on a 3rd and long. Nice job by Julian Duggar, to pick up some yards and make it 4th and short. And maybe you have another Silverman punt where you can pin them deep in North Hills territory.
High kick. Hits it to 20, takes a North Hills bounce, and Penn Hills will down it at about the 23-yard line. 2:01 to go, third quarter. We are tied at 7. Penn Hills and North Hills on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. North Hills taking over at their own 23-yard line.
Both defenses just showing up tonight. You know, this has been a very hard-fought battle. Both teams, you know, you've seen chunk plays, but you haven't seen a lot of them. It's been a lot of the 3 to 5 yard variety, but Penn Hills has been the one that has had chances where they could break on the defensive side, but they only bend and able to withstand North Hills.
Dickerson wrapped up in the backfield by Pugliese once again. He'll lose 3 back to the 20.
Number 16, Robert Dickerson brought down in the backfield. Number 78, Lee Pugliese.
We're starting to call Pugliese's number more and more here tonight.
Yeah, he's getting to going on the defensive side on that left end. He's making the right tackle earn it tonight, and so far Pugliese is winning the battle. Besides the tackles for loss, he's had a lot of rushes and forces on that defensive line, getting in front of Ethan Marker.
Foskey moves the Marker's left. Marker will roll to his right. Looks, launches one downfield, has a man. And the pass incomplete. It was almost caught by Dickerson. Threw into double coverage. Barney and Duggar on the coverage for Penn Hills.
Yeah, and that's just one of the ones where might have waved at the ball right in front of Robert Dickerson, and he just maybe lost concentration for a half second, and ball falls incomplete. It was a beautiful thrown ball by Ethan Marker. It was on, not, no pun intended, the mark. It was there, but unfortunately not able to come up with Robert Dickerson.
Dickerson in motion to the right. Marker springs it back this way. Fighting ahead is Liam Tracy. Out to the 32-yard line. Be short of the first down by a solid yard and a half. And North Hill's in a tight game like this, you got to bring the punting unit on. You don't necessarily have to punt it, but you got to bring the punting unit on.
Yep, might see the same play we saw for Penn Hills. A little snap to the up man.
And North Hills does indeed kick. Noel Roach will watch it hit in front of him and go dead at about the 31-yard line. 13 seconds remain here in the quarter.
A nice job there by Noel Roach just to watch it and make sure it didn't go too far, because we got a hold of a good one back to receive it. But 37-yard punt, rolled out about 15 of those. Now see Penn Hills, can they get the offense going? They had a couple plays, but then the too many men in the huddle is kind of what broke the back and made it too much yardage to cover for the offense, especially on third down.
Duggar rolls to his left. Looking downfield, he'll take it himself. Across the 40, we'll have a first down and more. That was out of bounds, close to midfield. I'm going to mark him way back at the 44-yard line. Does get the first down. 4 seconds remain here in the third quarter.
And that's there's two pass plays where they've run that bootleg action. They're expecting the pass, so they stay with the wide receiver. Now it opens up the lane for Duggar. He just keeps it himself and picks up the first down.
As soon as they come up to cover Duggar, it's going to leave a man open.
Yep.
Mayor Key gets nothing, and that'll do it for quarter number 3. At the end of 3, your score, Penn Hills 7, North Hills 7. You're on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, you all heard of the Pittsburgh Pierogies down PNC Park. Well, welcome back. Your North Hills Big Cookies for their return race. Ladies and gentlemen, get up for Olay, Patty, Tex, and Madame. All right, North Hills, it's time for the big cookie race. On your mark, get set, go! Looks like this Sailor is in the lead. I think that's the Sailor. He's sprinting, he's sailing ahead for the victory. But bringing in the back of the back was the Cookie Monster. Let's give it up for the victory.
And I'll tell you another thing. We see the pizza race where they have here at North Hills. North Hills has one of the better student sections.
Yes.
And unfortunately, they're unable to attend tonight.
They are a lively student section. You know.
And another disappointment, no rowdy rooters. I don't know, whoever bought the house up on the corner up there is just... And you remember, they used to have the big light-up sign, Rowdy Rooters, and they had a bunch of people up there. And I always look forward to coming out here to see that. So now the team switched sides. Penn Hills will be moving right to left.
Second down and 11.
Cameron Hopkins.
Brought down by number 55, Chris Scott.
We'll make it 3rd and 10.
A gain of 1. Third down and 10.
Dogger rolls to his right, looks for somewhere to go, and he's going to be sacked back at the 35-yard line. Had nowhere to go with that one.
No, nowhere to go. You're trying to go to the far side of the field, but unfortunately that's an opposite hand of Julian Duggar, so by the time he has to turn and try to throw it, you might have a fumble on your hands. So unfortunately, he does the right thing and just tucks it and takes a sack.
Penn Hills just gives him 5 more. After 3, Plum up 20-7.
Ball is spotted at the 30-yard line, 4th down and 24.
High snap. Silverman able to get a nice kick away. Hits it to 35. It takes a nice Penn Hills roll, picked up at the 27-yard or 22-yard line. Now that was Dickerson just grabbing and making sure it didn't go anywhere deeper. And with 10:27 to go here in the 4th quarter, North Hills will start at their own 21.
Beautiful punt by Silverman. And
first, it was a nice job getting the snap.
Yeah, and then smart play by Dickerson to catch it, because that ball is probably going in the end, and you might get another 5 or 10 yards of roll.
Low snap, Markey, quick throw, left side, pass complete. Dickerson across the 30, breaks a tackle. Dickerson fights his way ahead. Finally pushed out of bounds at the 43-yard line. I'm telling you what, that was an incredible play by that young man.
Yes.
Just fighting his way ahead. He would not go down.
Throws one man into the Penn Hills bench, and then as his right arm's being pulled, he's dragging to keep getting a couple more yards. That's a spectacular play by the wide receiver.
Foskey moves up to Marker's left. I'll get it straight up the middle. Penn Hills is there. Short gain. Cameron Hopkins with the tackle for Penn Hills.
And Foskey's now shaking up on the play.
Well, he had a whole tribe of Indians all over him.
Yeah, and the initial contact was by Derek Topek, and then, as you mentioned, Hopkins was the one who came in and finished it off. And looks like we just got a little cramp. You know, a nice evening, not too hot, so you might not drink as much fluids as you think you need, but and who knows, might have in the tackle taken a knee to the back of the calf, and it just causes a little Charlie horse. Trying to find some more scores around the WPIL. Woodland Hills, this was 34 minutes ago. Woodland Hills leads Franklin Regional 26-7 with 9:22 to go in the third quarter. So the Wolverines looking to break that third place tie in the Big East Conference. And that's actually the score, 26-7 end of the third between Woodland Hills and Franklin Regional.
Legler goes in motion, the end to the left. And North Hills flinched.
Legal procedure, ball start, North Hills.
Make it 2nd and 12.
That's the play you gotta capitalize on. You gotta make it work. There's a lot of motion on that play and a lot of different calls and signals, and unfortunately one of the offensive linemen just flinched for the snap.
A handoff underneath to Liam Tracy. Gets the penalty yardage back, +1. And bring up 3rd down and about 7. Clock under 9 minutes to go. Tied at 7, Penn Hills, North Hills.
We got some personnel issues coming on late. Chase
Foskey comes in, yeah. That'll be Foskey in motion this way. He'll step up the block. Marker looking downfield. He's under pressure. Looks for somewhere to go. And Penn Hills is there. Going to bring him down at the line of scrimmage. So Marker avoids the sack, but it brings up 4th down and 7.
Yeah, nice job there by the defense. Actually coming up, Cameron Hopkins made Marker move up and then allowed Topak and Puglisi to make the tackle for the gain of 1 and bring out the punting unit.
John Green back at his own 34-yard line. Takes a snap. The Indians bring the rush. Gets the kick away. Roach picks it up at the 24-yard line.
He did call fair catch. He waved up. It wasn't a side to move out of the way. It was up. So, but they gave him the whistle and basically gave himself up at the same time. So.
On his fielding. By number 6, Joel Roach.
So now see what Penn Hills can do with 7:52 to go here in the 4th quarter.
Getting late in the game, Penn Hills with all 3 timeouts so far in the second half. North Hills with only 2, having to burn their first timeout within a minute of starting the second half.
Duggar waves Duggar in motion to the right. And Duggar will keep it on the play action right side. And North Hills will close quickly. Short gain for young Julian.
Number 2, Julian Duggar, the keeper. Brought down.
Gets 4. That's doable. You pick up 4 on 2nd down, and you have a 3rd and short.
Yep. And that's one of those plays you look back and, probably is a design keeper for Duggar, but if he hands it off to Amir Key, Key had a wide open lane on the left side of the line, but nonetheless able to pick up some good yardage on 1st down.
And that is Key across the up to the 30 for 3. And Penn Hill's looking at a 3rd and 3.
Yep, just like you called. I mean, you said 4, give him 3. It's still 3rd and.
You gain 4, you gain 3. You gain 4. You have a first down. You gain 4, 3, 3. You have a first down.
You need only 3. Right at the spot. It's to the 33-yard line. Offense, though, there's a lot of miscommunication going on. No one knows what's going on. And then Coach LaDon's just going to call a timeout here at the end of the play clock. Talk us over with his offense.
Avoid that illegal substitution penalty again. I mean, could that possibly be due to the absence of Dante Pollard, who left the game early in the half?
It could be. You're starting to see some guys in there that normally aren't on the offense right off the bat, and they're not used to subbing right away. And it also could be a miscommunication between some guys, like not telling another one, "Hey, you're out. I'm in." Going to the sideline. So it could be, that the experience factor with Dante Pollard. That's where that can come in. Looking at the stats, North Hills 42 plays, 248 yards. For Penn Hills, 40 plays for 162 yards. Not really a passing game for both teams. North Hills 4 for 9 for 88 yards and a touchdown. Penn Hills 4 for 10 for 70 yards. Then all rushing, North Hills 33 rushes for 160 yards, while Penn Hills has 30 rushes for only 92 yards.
Dogger, quick pass, complete. Noel Roach loses the football. And Penn Hills falls on it. Did they fall on it at the 40-yard line?
I think Mitchell made the most hustle play
oh my
a coach
goodness
could ask
gracious.
for. Oh, my. What a hustle play by the young man. He's had a couple drops tonight. That makes up for it right there. That keeps the drive alive and allows your team to potentially go up late in this game.
Goodness, if North Hills falls on it, they have the ball close to midfield. Wow. Nice catch by Roach.
Yes.
Clock rolling under 6 minutes to go here in the 4th. Again, we are tied at 7. Low snap. Duggar rolls to his left, throws downfield, has a man in a pass too high for his brother, Jaden.
Covers in play by number 3, John Green.
That was just, that's a play where the awareness of DeAndre Mitchell to go towards his teammate with the ball and then able to fall on it, just a spectacular play.
Situational awareness.
Yes, very much so.
Penn Hills in the pistol. Amir Key keeps it straight up the gut. Slides in just short of the first down. Okay, he lost his footing. Picks up about 8 yards.
He was trying to make a cut to the left.
I think he was going to try to make a move there.
Yeah, foot slipped out, but still a great run up the middle. Makes it 3rd and short now. A lot of opportunity for your offense going into North Hills territory.
Again, if he just kept going straight, fight ahead for another yard or two, and you might have the first down. Key gets close to the 30. He'll be about a half yard short.
He gets 1.
And the Indians will keep the offense on the field as a North Hills Indian.
Comes up.
Comes off slowly. Or one-legged.
It looks like that's William Fonzie, the senior linebacker. So 4th and 1, we've seen Penn Hills offense, we've seen them execute effectively, and we've seen them also have a mishap so far on this type of down.
Last time on 4th and short, Duggar was under center. This time they will be in the shotgun. And Topek spins ahead into the secondary. Topek, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Penn Hills Indians. Topek from 31 yards out, and the Penn Hills Indians take the lead with 4.5 minutes to go in this contest.
Don't stop turning them legs, young man, and Derek Topek doesn't. He fights through the tackles, able to spin off the big pile at the 30. He had the first down already, and then all of a sudden, green grass is in front of him, makes one man miss, and into the end zone for the 31.
You see that a lot in 4th and 1s and things like that. You have the defense all stacked at the line, and if you can just get past that initial surge at the line, you're pretty much free into the secondary. Silverman to try the point after the kick, up and good. 4:30 to go here in this contest. Penn Hills takes the lead 14-7 over the North Hills Indians. Don't go away. This one is far from over. Here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
And it looked like, as you mentioned, North Hill stacked the box, but off the initial play, it looks like they were ready for Amir Key to get it on the right side. And instead, Julian Duggar hands it off to his left to Derek Topek. Got the first down, spun off the pile, makes a man miss. 31 yards later, he's into the end zone, and 4:30 to go. Penn Hills doubles the score, makes it 14-7.
77-yard drive by Penn Hills in 7 plays. 3 minutes, 22 seconds. But on the bright side for North Hills, Penn Hills gave them a lot of time left.
Yep.
I mean, if Penn Hills just makes the 1 yard, now they can start working on the clock as they get in close, not only for a touchdown, but also they have Silverman who can kick field goals.
That's one of those plays where, he got the open field. You got to go for it. You got to get that score. You don't know if you're going to get that.
Oh no,
chance.
I'm just saying if he got stopped, at just for a first down, picking up a yard and a half there.
Yeah, it definitely kills more clock off. But the way the Penn Hills defense has been showing up so far tonight, I'm very impressed if I'm Coach Ladon.
And Silverman booms this one back to the 1 yard line. And North Hills gets a nice return out to across the 25, about the 28.
Liam Tracy on the return there.
Now North Hills still a lot of time on the clock here.
Ball is spotted at the North Hills 28.
Getting to the outside across the 35 is Liam Tracy. Markham is at 36-yard line, picks up 8.
Gain of 8 on the play, second down and 2.
Claude Evangelos, he had Tracy dead to right at the line of scrimmage, and he just missed on a tackle. That's a tackle you need to make for your team to prevent anything from happening.
Dickerson, left side, will have the first down.
Robert Dickerson on a carry. A gain of 3. First down and North Hills.
Nice job by Noel Roach, come from the free safety spot and make that open field tackle, because if he misses, we might be talking about a big run for Robert Dickerson.
I expect we may be seeing one of those gadget plays in North Hills runs here soon. I think Penn Hills defense starting to play a little more aggressively here. That's when you try to catch them. Foskey straight up the middle will have a first down. Finally brought down from behind. After a pickup of about 11.
And until that drive, Penn Hills offense really didn't get anything going to sustain a drive to give their defense a break. And I mean, most of these guys play on the other side of the ball at the same time, so you might be starting to see some tired men on the Penn Hills side.
Foskey again straight up the middle for close to 10. They'll be just short of the first down. Oh, 2nd and 1. Clock approaching 2.5 to go. Oh, we're watching them picking up these big yards. We're forgetting about the clock running.
Yep.
Tracy goes in motion to the left, and it's Foskey coming up the middle to the right. We'll have the first down.
Foskey was tackled on the play by number 55, Los Angeles. Game 3, first down, North Hills.
That was, in the past 3 rushes, that was the first time a North Hills runner was met by contact at the line of scrimmage. Otherwise, they were getting into the linebacker to the defensive back section before being hit.
Dickerson this way, right into the arms of Luke Pugliese. At the 34-yard line, picks up 3. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Yeah, but a nice job by Pugliese, basically just to swallow him up.
He did.
He ran into his chest and just put the bear hug on him and just go down.
Drive started back at the 28-yard line. 1.5 to go here in this game. North Hills trails by 7. Foskey's tripped up in the backfield by his own man. Will lose a yard.
Foskey tripped up, timeout, North Hills.
And North Hills will use a timeout with 1:23 to go here in the fourth quarter. Penn Hills 14, North Hills 7. And North Hills needs end zone.
Yes, and you get in, you go for 2, you going for the win then.
Depends on how you get in. I think if you're running the ball well.
The passing game hasn't been terrible. They're 4 for 9 for 88 yards. It's not something they do in this offensive playbook. They are it's kind of like a wing T in a shotgun formation that they do, and they use the end around all the time. That's their playbook. That's the bread and butter for North Hills.
If they're able to run the ball well, and you're set up at the 2.5 yard line.
Yep.
Basically, if you see your offensive line dominating the defensive line on the way down the field, I would seriously consider just going for the 2 right there.
And so far, this drive has shown that this offensive line is getting a great push against Penn Hills, and they're pushing back 2 or 3 yards, and that's why Dickerson looked like he got held up originally on that first down run at the line of scrimmage, but it was actually 3 yards downfield because of the offensive line.
Markey's going to throw, has a man, and the pass picked off by Duggar, and Duggar slide in at the 31-yard line. Penn Hills takes over with 1:15 to go, and credit Jaden Duggar. After he caught that interception of trying to make anything with it, he slid in, kept the possession. And now the Indians of Penn Hills with an opportunity to run out the clock.
And there was your gadget play. And that was the point where Duggar let his man go downfield with the safety, came up and just read the eyes of Ethan Marker, and just it's a catch that that man can make in Jaden Duggar, and he just does it. And like you said, credit to him. Does the smart thing. Slide down and don't do anything stupid.
And Duggar takes a knee. How many timeouts do North Hills have?
That was their last one.
I believe so. Now, interesting. I believe that's the first turnover of the game.
Yes. Yeah, we had, besides the fumble, which was recovered by DeAndre Mitchell for Penn Hills, that was it.
It's been a clean game.
Yes, it's been a very clean game. And besides the one personal foul penalty, it's been a clean game penalty-wise as well. Only a total of 13 penalties for a total of 94 yards. The penalty book. We're going to put 2 more seconds on the clock and make it 1:11. But talk about a grind-out victory for Penn Hills.
We've talked the last few weeks about these games being very defensive games and how we've enjoyed defensive games. And Boy, we're sure getting what we wished for, didn't we?
Oh, yes, we are.
Dogger takes another knee. Indians need to run the game clock under 40 seconds.
Yep, they'll do it.
I'm sure if you could hear Coach LaDawn yelling from across the field, 35.
Yep.
35.
When you see 35 on the big clock on the scoreboard, you snap it. And you call it a day. And great response by Penn Hills. You lose one of your senior leaders in Dante Pollard to an injury, and they come out. A beautiful drive that was kept alive by the DeAndre Mitchell fumble recovery off the Noel Roach reception. And then you go down, and on 4th and 1, Derek Topek just punches it in from 31 yards out.
And that'll do it. Clock winds down. Your final score, Penn Hills 14, North Hills 7. Now Penn Hills North Hills still has to play Pine Richland. So I think you kind of assume Pine Richland takes that one. That would be,
yeah.
Well, that may not happen, but North Hills now drops into second place, actually in third place in the conference with the loss behind Penn Hills because Pine Richland is undefeated.
Pine Richland's undefeated. They both would be 2-1. And I'm going to guess Fox Chapel, what their result might be against Kiski. Depending on that, you could have a three-way tie for second, but Penn Hills would own the tiebreaker over North Hills. And then Fox Chapel coming up next week for the Indians. You could be talking about a second-place finish for Penn Hills when it was looking like maybe just trying to squeak in with a wild card spot. Now you're talking, you might be one of the top two to qualify. And that was a nice.
So it was. I think this was a game. Where I think both teams looked at. This. If you didn't win tonight's game, it was going to be difficult to get yourself into the playoffs.
Yes.
And Penn Hills came out and made a statement. I mean, they weren't flashy. They earlier in the season they tried a lot of throwing the football. A lot of going to the receivers. But tonight they went back to basics, especially after the loss of Topek. But they were running the ball with Topek.
Yes.
No, not Topek. Excuse me.
Pollard.
Dante Pollard. But once Pollard got injured, they still kept running the football. They didn't have to. You don't have to pick up 15, 20 yards. Pick up 3, 4, 5 yards at a clip, and that's all they were doing. Of course, the Indians would, move the football. Both Indians would move the football a little bit, and drives would stall. But it was actually a fun game to watch.
It was an exciting game to watch. Everything, as you mentioned, it was a clean game. Both sides. It was chippy, but we expect that both teams are playing to secure a playoff spot. And then the response by Penn Hills, and you mentioned they stuck to the running game. It really wasn't working. They were kind of getting 2 or 3 yards here and there. And then Amir Key busted off a big run of about 12 yards, and then Derek Topek, the 31-yard rush for the score. But credit to Penn Hills and Coach LaDawn, didn't stray away, as you mentioned, from the game plan. Let's run the ball. We're a run team, and then the pass will feed off that. And that's exactly what happened tonight. And the defense, all year Penn Hills defense has looked good. 1 or 2 breaks in a game against North Allegheny and again against Woodland Hills. And Pine Richland's, the number 1 team in Class 5A.
Remember, they're the 6A champs.
Yes. So they ran into that buzzsaw last week. Great response by the team, offensively and defensively. Come out, you hold a team that has been scoring at a very good clip for North Hills. 42 and 35 in their wins. They've also faced games against Moon and Woodland Hills, who are 2 very top teams in their respective conferences and in the Class 5A. But Penn Hills gets it done, and defense wins it with the interception.
Absolutely, as we discussed, we enjoy watching defense play. But the Indians, Penn Hills Indians, come up at the end with the big play, following the late touchdown on the 4th and 1, 31-yard touchdown run by Derek Topek. With 4.5 minutes to go in this game. That was the difference. And Penn Hills comes out victorious tonight. Next week, Penn Hills will be hosting Fox Chapel. And as we mentioned, North Hills, it certainly doesn't get any easier. They go up north to Pine Richland. I believe they're on the road next week.
Yes, they are at Pine Richland next week.
So they'll be at Pine.
Actually, on the road next 2 weeks, the end of the season for North Hills. At Pine Richland and then at Fox Chapel, which could be a fight for the wild card spot, potentially in Class 5A.
Could be. Fox Chapel victorious last week against Kiski. And also victorious against Shaler, I do believe. But we'll see. Interesting. We'll see how things all play out.
Yep.
So, once again, your final score from Martorelli Stadium in Westview. The Penn Hills Indians defeat the North Hills Indians by a score of 14-7. For our all-around important person in the booth, Helen, who does it all for us, from our broadcast partner, R.J. Licey, I'm Bill Navari. We'll see you again next week here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.